At the beginning, a long time ago, I worked for many years building virtual reality experiences for Disney, for one thing that was called Disney Quest. And at the time, the technology was very expensive, so big companies like Disney could afford to do it. And you had to go to a special place. So the idea originally was to make kind of video game arcades all over the place, but it turned out to be very expensive, and then the graphics were getting pretty good for video games, so it was not cost effective. Like some of the things that we developed, things like this, that were pretty considered hyper realistic in '98, like pretty quickly they became pretty outdated. And even the PlayStation 2 was getting way better graphics than what we could get with big machines. We were using silicon graphic machines. So anyways, the business model basically didn't work out. So there's still these experiences in Florida. We developed a few different ones. We developed something like this, which is closer to what we have today, which you would wear a helmet and then turn around. And it was this experience. You were flying on a flying carpet and going through Aladdin's world. And you can turn around and see other people flying with you. You would see them as monkeys. It was interesting metaphor. So we were all monkeys. You would look around and see the other players playing at the same time. It was 4 players at the same time. And then there was another approach that we used that it was also successful. It was something like this. It was a cave or a 4-screen thing. You would wear 3D glasses, but you were moving on a real space. Like in this one, this is like a Pirates of the Caribbean experience, and you were on a motion platform that looked like a boat, and it had there were a bunch of cannons, so people could move around in real space, and they would shoot the real cannons, but then they would see the cannonballs coming, virtual cannonballs coming out of it, and all the virtual environment around. And there was another person driving the boat, and we were able to create a pretty compelling experience. And I'm going to talk a little more about this conflict between game mechanics and storytelling, which that's what I worked for many years. So all media create experiences, and experiences are in our head mostly. Now, the difference with, sorry for the, sounds like we're missing some fonts and stuff. What is interesting about virtual reality and also about games, and it's different from a lot of what people are doing in VR, is they just put you in this experience. They shoot this 360 film, and you are immersed in this situation, but you don't have any control over it. The potential of VR is that you can really interact with it, and that's similar to games, where you can really have an effect on the environment, and you can change the environment, and that allows you to have experiences that you cannot have anywhere else. Because you get, like all experiences, get you some feelings and there's some emotional connection there, but when you are able to modify the environment, then you can have things that have to do with freedom, with choice, with things that you cannot have any other way. And that's why virtual reality is so rich, and also why at the moment I think that the learning that we have done from games could be really useful to create compelling experiences in VR. So VR, as in games, they have 4 elements that they combine to create a compelling experiences. You have art, you have game mechanics, then there's some social mechanics where you can interact with other people, sometimes in real time, sometimes not. I'll see some examples, and then you have storytelling. And they are all pretty important, like to create, and to show you a little more about how important it is, I'm going to talk about what are the stages of a successful experience. So, a successful experience, you need to go through the user, or whoever is looking at the experience goes through 4 stages. First, people need the experience needs to stand out. Like what I'm referring here is in the App Store or at the Oculus Store, you see a bunch of different experiences, and yours needs to stand out for users even to try it. Once they stand out, you need to connect. Like even if it stands out, like if you see somebody screaming in the middle of the street and it doesn't make sense to you, you just walk away. But if they're saying something interesting that connects to you, then you go and see what's going on. So the same with experiences, you need to connect. And then you need to engage them. You need to keep them entertained for a little while. And that's where we can learn about a lot from video games. And then you need to really be successful, you need to find a way to scale. For people to talk about your product in a way that more people want to try it. And not only that, the same people want to try it over and over again. What these 4 stages are assuming or taking for granted is that you know your user. This is some pictures from video games, but it's the same for virtual reality. And it's the same, you need to have very clear who you are designing for, because it's what you need to do to stand out and engage this guy is very different from what you need to do to engage these guys. So, I mean, the first step and the most important, like everything revolves around who is your user. And of course, a successful experience, you need to have your goals very clear too. If you're trying to, a lot of the applications for VR are for learning, for example. And if your VR experience is very compelling, but it's not really teaching, then it doesn't work. So, let's go back to these 4 stages. So standout experiences, it's already a lot of them, even though the medium is pretty young. So as you can see, from those 4 elements that I mentioned, art, mechanics, community, story, really what counts at the beginning is, what do you think it counts? Maybe community, maybe if a friend of yours recommended one, the application will stand out. But the other one is art, basically. I mean, you don't have enough information about the mechanics and you don't know the story. So it's basically art. And there's another element that is very important, which is theme. If you are into science fiction, then you will notice anything that has to do with science fiction. So if you have your game or your application from these elements, really what helps you stand out is the community. So if you have people talking about it, the art, and then there's this thing that I'm going to talk a little more about, which is the theme, and that can be supported by all the other elements. Now let's talk a little about Connect. If you see, these are the best-selling experiences on the store right now. And as you can see, none of them look like this. And that doesn't mean like you cannot connect through game mechanics. I mean, this is like a game, like an abstract game. In fact, you could connect to the player with anything. You could connect through stories, through community or social interactions. You could connect through art, through many different things. But theme can make the experience really, really powerful. That's why using themes is a good idea. Now, one thing, when we're talking about themes, there's a mistake that I hear very often. When people think about theme, they think about a topic. Like if I say, okay, my theme is about pirates. That is not a theme. A theme really is an opinion, a point of view about a topic or a concept. So it's not really, it wouldn't be, I have my experiences about pirates, but my experiences about how a pirate's life is a wonderful life. So the fact that it's a point of view, it lets you connect. It's already an opinion that I can connect with. Like it's talking about freedom, it's talking about adventure, and I can resonate with it because it resonates with my desire to be free, for example, or to do what I want when I want to, or to be free from doing things that I don't want. But the interesting thing about this is that it can also, once you have a theme like that, that it's an opinion and a point of view, then you can tie all the elements of your experience to that theme to reinforce it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with game design and with this book. This book is called The Art of Game Design by Jesse Shell. Jesse Shell was a lead designer on this experience that I also worked on. I worked as an art director at the ride, and we knew that it was going to be about pirates, but that doesn't really help you much to determine what experience needs to be about. But once we nailed that the theme was how cool it was to live as a pirate because of the adventure and the freedom, then a lot of the decisions, even about technology, were helped a lot by just trying to reinforce the theme. Like, for example, talking about, because you had to feel that you were immersed, you had to feel like, how does it feel to be a pirate? That led to the decision of using real cannons and a real looking platform. It led to technology decisions like we decided to use a hydraulic motion platform because it felt more like a boat, for example. We decided things like where to put the air conditioning, because the experience is in Florida, to put it in front of us so you would feel like a breeze, for example. Decisions about game mechanics, for example. Since it was about freedom, we couldn't, it was very important that the users could decide where to go. So that led us to it was for 4 people, but we had 6 cannons, so people could move around the boat wherever they wanted. And they could drive wherever they wanted. So we didn't put them in a specific place, we put them in the middle of the environment, and then they could drive anywhere. Now, the exciting is to be a pirate, and that was an interesting thing because the story also had to be pretty exciting. But they had the freedom to go anywhere they want, so potentially they could go to a bunch of places that are not very exciting. So what we did a few different things. At the beginning of the experience, you start getting attacked by ships. And since you are being attacked, you start attacking back, and then they start fleeing. And as you go after them, they take you to all the exciting places. So they will take you to the islands where all the excitement and the storytelling was. And then after you were there and for a while, then you see some of the storytelling, then there was another ship that started attacking you and took you to these other places. So in a way, we kind of cheated and forced people through luring them to experience a different storytelling. Also, as part of the storytelling to be compelling, we made the ship invincible until the end, where you could lose if you get shot a lot, but then the losing was super exciting. It was more exciting than when you went underwater and there were sharks and stuff. So in a way, like every decision about game mechanics, storytelling, everything was around the theme. So the point is, at the beginning of an experience, if you're able to nail down this theme that glues together all the different elements of the experience, then you will be able to connect and stand out and engage people way more effectively. So that is it. So now engagement in VR.